Okay, again, natural selection requires 4 prerequisites, okay, which are number 1, variation, number 2, fitness consequences, number 3, mode of inheritance, and number 4, competition for resources. Okay, we take a look one by one. Variation in characteristic are caused by three types of cause here. Number 1, which are number 1, mutation, number 2, genetic recombination during sexual reproduction, and number 3, migration. Okay, for natural selection to act, there must be variation in the trait. If not, there is nothing to act upon. Okay, for example here, this is about big, big of the birds. Okay, in Geopizza fortis type of birds. Okay, so if you look at that, among individual in the population, there is a variation in big size. For fins, big size, okay, the small one and the big one. For the large big, of course, they only fit a small large seed, whereby for the small bigs, they are very limited fit for to the small seeds only. Okay, these differences in big size among individual can affect their survival and reproduction. Of course, if you look at that, this is actually a type of situation happen. Okay, early 70s, during normal weather, population of finch high, food plenty, and various size. And for 1977 drought, during drought time, seed production declined and small seed declined faster than larger seed, thus resulted in larger and harder seeds and created a problem for the small beak. Okay, for the birds with larger beaks survive better than those with small beaks. So this is actually a differences between different types of size of beaks. So this is just a graph showing size of beak for big and small size only. So variation in plant and animal, individual or species are not identical. So this is the differences between plant and animal. So if you look at that, this is about variation between population. Again, most species exhibit geographic variation, differences between gene pool and separate population or population subgroup. Okay, if you look at that, different region, they have their own type of change through even through their gene pool. So this is actually a differences between population and region. For the plant also, they also change in terms of their outlook or their structure. Okay, some example of geographic variation occur as a decline, which a graded change with in a trait long geographical axis. Okay, if you look at that, there are actually different types of level in the hill, and if you look at that, for those plant that receive only small amount of sunlight, of course they cannot perform photosynthesis very proper manner, and of course they are become dwarf compared than those plant that can receive a lot of sunlight. I mean enough light for them to perform photosynthesis. They become larger, bigger, and healthier. Number 2, reproductive fitness. Okay, reproductive fitness actually about potential for reproduction and live descendants. Okay, fitness more into reproduction itself. Okay, of course, for example here, the differences in big size of the birds must translate to the fitness differences. Of course, the big size one, they are healthier, and they are larger, they are stronger compared than the small one. Number 3, modes of inheritance. Without a mode of inheritance, fitness differences are washed away, and natural selection cannot move the bird population to a larger or smaller, big size. So this is actually more into their genetic inheritance. The last one, about competition. Of course, competition is very important for a limited resources among offsprings. Only those able to obtain resources will survive. Of course, the stronger, the high chances to survive are better compared than those organisms that they have very limited resources. Okay, So this by Darwin, they said among those individuals that do reproduce, some will leave more offspring than others. Fitter individuals will have higher contribution to the next generation. So this is by Darwin.